Okay, welcome to this class. I'm very happy that you joined, and very happy that you want to take time to be in the silence with yourself, like go deeper into yourself, and come in contact with that silently is talking to you all day long, speaking to you, and that knows, and that is providing you with everything, in fact, that you need. So it is all inclusive. It is all you. It is not something else that comes through you, or no, not at all. It is only different than you think. So I can explain it to you, but that will not do it either. Today we have a class, and it's about giving, it's about receiving, it's about seeing what is actually going on that you can only give to yourself, because there's literally nothing outside yourself. And we use the Way of Mastery and the Course in Miracles for that this time, and a little bit of Bible. So I'm still diving into John, and I want to read something from John. This is also about, okay, so whether you see this teaching on YouTube, or whether you are in the class, or whether whenever you even hear about this is not about me. And that's what Jesus said too. It's like, it's not about me. I'm not doing anything, so I will not take credit for any of it either. At the same time, it is me, it is I that's actually teaching, because I've no use. I would not be interested in sharing anything about the personality that I appear to be, to share with you. That's not what I do here. Like, there are millions of channels for that, and I'm not interested in that at all. So that's a bit different, isn't it? So Jesus said the same in John, and I just want to read that as an introduction to where we find ourselves. And I read two little parts of John. You'll see what that is, and I'll come back to you in a second. Let me see, where's Jesus saying this? Oh yeah, here. My teaching is not my own, Jesus says. It comes from him who sent me. If anyone desires to do his will, he will know whether my teaching is from God, or whether I speak on my own. He who speaks on his own authority seeks his own glory, but he who seeks the glory of the one who sent him is a man of truth. In him there's no falsehood. Okay, so this is a bit what I just tried to share with you. I'm with you only a little while longer, and then I'm going to the one who sent me. You will look for me, but you will not find me, and where I am, you cannot come. And then, of course, the people around him are saying, like, hey, what's going on? You will look for me, but will not find me, and where I am, you cannot come. They don't understand what is going on. So the next step, Jesus stands up and cries out with a loud voice on a big party. He says, if anyone is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, with a capital M, as the scripture has said, streams of living water will flow from within him. So these these pieces of the Bible are so connected. So it's like, okay, this teaching is not coming from me. It's I that does the teaching. I have no interest in any of that for myself. And that's how it is. That's it. And so Jesus immediately after that says too, it's like, okay, I will go to the one who sent me. And it's like, okay, I'm going within, and you will not be able to follow me. You will not be able to come there, because it is you can never come there. It's like it's not you as a personal, like you as a human being coming to the place where I am. That's impossible. So it's not say declaration of separation, but more like, don't look for it where it cannot be found. So turn within and look for it there. And then he's making the real beautiful lines with like a stream of living water. And this is like, okay, this is my goal. I want to experience that. I want to experience a flow of living water. When I'm thirsty, when I feel that I'm so too much involved in the world, when I feel that I miss communication, or that it's like I have no idea how to get out of this anymore, then I now know where to go for that. And that is what you know. You know where to go for that now. It's like you go within, but that's not, you will see that in the next text that I'm going to use in this teaching too. It's like, that's not the only thing that you need to do. Like, basically, we're always coming back to the idea of being completely, totally honest with yourself. It's like, why would you want to hide anything if you know that you cannot hide? And why do I emphasize this so many times? Because it is my own experience that if you are open to share what's coming up in you, or what memories you have that are still not digested, so to speak, then there's no way that you can experience peace. So, and that's a bit of practice, and I will use today the way of transformation for that, to give you more insight and exercises and say tools to work with that, because it's like you literally have nothing to be ashamed of. Anything that comes up in you, it's just you allow everything to be there, and then you're one step ahead. You wouldn't want to hide anything, like, because your goal is to come into this pure communication, like to come into a pure giving in that sense, and a pure receiving at the same time, and not hiding anything, being a completely open, not even a channel, but being completely open to receive and to give. And that is so great, and that so much is given in this moment, so much is present with us that can help us to extend ourselves and come into the realization of where the living waters can be found, and what you need to do to get obstructions out of the way in that sense. So one part of this now activity of the Christ class that we're in now, this is the 5th class, we are using from A Course in Miracles to the first 50 lessons, the review of the first 50 lessons. And so I'm going to read to you the 5th day of this review. And that will tell you a lot about what is actually occurring in your mind, in your human mind, and how that is not helpful to you in your undoing, like what's literally in the way of your undoing, to really dive deep into your inner experience of I am. So here I'm going to read that to you. And it starts with lesson 21. I am determined to see things differently. What I see now are but signs of disease, disaster, and death. This cannot be what God created for his beloved Son. The very fact that I see such things is proof that I do not understand God. Therefore, I also do not understand his Son. What I see tells me that I do not know who I am. I am determined to see the witnesses to the truth in me rather than those which show me an illusion of myself. See, that's a decision. What I see, and here we go, what I see is a form of vengeance. The world I see is hardly the representation of loving thoughts. It is a picture of attack on everything by everything. It's anything but a reflection of the love of God and the love of his Son. It is my own attack thoughts that give rise to this picture. My loving thoughts will save me from this perception of the world and give me the peace God intended me to have. And lesson 23. I can escape from this world by giving up attack thoughts. Herein lies salvation and nowhere else. Without attack thoughts, I could not see a world of attack. As forgiveness allows love to return to my awareness, I will see a world of peace and safety and joy. And it is this I choose to see in place of what I look on now. I do not perceive my own best interests. How could I recognize my own best interest when I do not know who I am? What I think are my best interests will merely bind me closer to the world of illusions. I am willing to follow the guide God has given me to find out what my own best interests are, recognizing that I cannot perceive them by myself. I do not know what anything is for. To me, the purpose of everything is to prove that my illusions about myself are real. It is for this purpose that I attempt to use everyone and everything. It is for this I believe the world is for. Therefore, I do not recognize its real purpose. The purpose I have given the world has led to a frightening picture of it. Let me open my mind to the world's real purpose by withdrawing the one I have given it and learning the truth about it. Okay, these are the reviews of 5 lessons, and of course they're going to be available on the EV Hub website. But see, the thing with this is, okay, you step back out of your regular human thinking, and then discover like, oh, I don't need it all together. I don't need my ideas about everything. My ideas are literally in the way of perceiving something new. And so this is, see, there's always God and I and me and all of that. So it appears to be that that is all separate, like they're all different things. So as a human being, you literally believe that you can be separate. So everything that you use with the language of human perception, of the human frame of reference, is basically, say, designed to confirm the separation. So it's very hard to use words and come into the, and say, a demonstration of the unity. But still we use language. So still we use words to explain, or your words to transfer ideas. So I do not know what anything is for. I have no idea what anything is for, but see, the I that I'm talking about doesn't need to know either. It doesn't need to understand what is going on, because the I I'm actually using in this matter is not with a capital I, so to speak. It is not I as I am. So what is it that is in pure communication? That is not, say, not separate from you, but it is separate from you as a human identity. And that's why Jesus says, like, where I go, you cannot come. It is impossible for you to enter into heaven as a human being. It is just not possible. So, and that it is so funny. Like, I live in a pretty Catholic city somewhere in Holland, and see here you see in a lot of places literally Jesus hanging on a cross, like on the corner of a street or wherever, as a monument for somebody who died for us. And this is actually funny if you see it as, okay, the human perception sees that Christ is dead. Like, it's literally for a sleeping mind, it is literally dead. Jesus is dead. He died. And we hope for his return. And see, in the human perception, that will never come. You can wait forever. So I think it's actually funny that you can see that people make monuments of a dead Christ or a dead Jesus. And that is like the total opposite of what is actually occurring. Like, more and more people are waking up. There's so much material available, and so many start to hear what this actually says. And so there are so many materials available too. And one of them is also the way of transformation. And this will, the part that I'm going to use will help you to see that you don't have to be in a control position in order to be, say, complete in yourself. You don't have to behave perfect, or you don't have to think perfect, but the inclusion of everything that's being stirred up inside of you, whether it's thoughts or emotions or desires, is allowed to be there. It's just that you don't have to engage with it, but you don't have to suppress it either. So that is a big relief, isn't it? So you can actually start to literally breathe that everything is allowed to be there. It is not that you have to adjust yourself to become something better, to improve yourself so that you finally can become enlightened. No, enlightenment, as is being said in the Course, it's a recognition. It's a recognition. So it means that it is something that you can recognize in yourself at this present moment, and that has, it doesn't mean that other parts of you are not, not allowing you to be that or something like that. It's like, it is a recognition of what is. It is not a recognition of something that needs to be fulfilled. So it's not looking at a potential, but it's a realization of the completion. It is all complete. It is whole in one. See, and there we go again. We're trying to use words designed to be used in separation, to come to express something that has nothing to do with this separation. So, and that is the same as when I read the Bible, the lines from what Jesus said. It is like, these are not just references, these are not just lines, these are opportunities to see things in a whole different way. So they're actually keys to a revelation, or keys to a whole new experience to yourself, for yourself. Okay, so here is the way of transformation. It's from lesson 10 out of that. It's a purple book. Let me see. So I got two parts that I want to use. This is what a lot of followers or listeners to Joel ask me too. Like, how then does the mind come to true silence? It is not merely simply a matter of closing the mouth. It is not merely simply a matter of shutting out the noise of the world. It certainly is not a matter of ceasing to listen to others, whether they speak the words of praise or the words of criticism. Quite the contrary. Silence can be cultivated in a number of ways. Initially, it will look like something you do through the body, to breathe deeply and rhythmically, to sit next to an ocean, to sit beneath a tree and become absorbed in the wind, to merely practice the ancient art of remaining silent without speaking as you go through your daily events. All of these begin to cultivate a relaxation within that you call the brain and the body, the nervous system. Yet these things are merely projections of mind anyway. So to still the body, to calm the body, to allow the activity in the brain hemispheres to relax and become more harmonious, this is in fact the initial step in bringing the mind to silence. But far deeper than these things is this: the genuine silence, which is indeed the threshold to wisdom, and wisdom is nothing more than enlightenment, requires cultivation of deep self-honesty. Honesty is that act in which the mind is no longer committed to hiding from its own darkness. And this is so great. I love that so much, because you can feel, the relief of that. You know that you don't have to hide anything anymore. You can just spit it out. You can just say or share what you think, or you can, that's okay that it is there. It's not about suppression of anything. It is not about trying to behave perfectly or trying to think the right thoughts, or it's not a matter of right and wrong at all. So that goes two ways, and also in the sense of the recognition that everything is allowed to be there is also, it doesn't need your adjustment, it just needs your open mind. That's all. You just relax into that, and by not suppressing anything, you can sink deeper into yourself, and in total freedom. That you see it, that thoughts came up before, and that you thought like, oh my God, this is not spiritual at all, or this is a bad thought, or this is a good thought. It was your own judgment system. It is a judgment system. So it has nothing to do with oneness. It's an activity of mind that's very contracted. So in order to enjoy, literally, to enjoy your enlightenment, your knowing, and using that knowing, as I've many times referred to as like the practicality of mysticism. It's like you sink deep in yourself, you allow that knowing to tell you what to do, or to look at things. Like you literally start to see like that with Christ vision, if you want. See, that is the purpose of this all, to come to the realization that you didn't have to do anything for it. It was already given. It is just that you were falling asleep and were hypnotized by a world that you created for yourself, to see if there's a place where you can be separate from God. So now this is all different. So you are going to experience all of this in a completely different way. Not excluding anything. No, it's just you literally start to include everything in. So it's all inclusive. In that sense, it is, it is being, say, compared to a black hole. So all the matter comes through to the black hole, on the edge of the black hole, like the event horizon. You see all parts of it, and by you as a black hole, you start to include literally everything in, and see that in that it becomes totally attracted to you, and it's allowed to be there, and you literally sink into it and come out on the other side. Like literally, that's where the light is shining. All the things that you didn't want to take a look at, all the things that you were hiding, are actually your possibilities to experience an incredible light. So to come to real silence deep inside yourself, like to come into deep, deep silence, you have to be totally honest with yourself, and that is easier than you think. It is not like an impossible thing to do, not at all. You have to come to the point where you literally the point of no return. If you talk about black holes, like you come to the point of no return where you literally don't want anything but that to happen to you, and that is so great, because then that can unfold, like then that can be completed in yourself, and you start to recognize it was always there, and you don't have to hide anything for yourself anymore or for others. So that's so cool. So to stir up that self-honesty, I will read a couple of lines, a couple of questions that might stir something up, because it was for me when I read it the first time. It's like, oh, I'm so happy to read this, because now I come to expand literally inside myself, my self-honesty. I can expand it and see that there's nothing to lose by literally admitting that it is there. Yes, I have murderous thoughts, absolutely. Sometimes my thoughts are murderous. Okay, I don't do anything with it, but I have them, and stuff like that. So see what happens to you when you hear this. Imagine then, for a moment, that you are fully enlightened in this moment. You are abiding in a state of perfect freedom and peace. You are at one with God. Would there be anything that you would need to be dishonest with in your own mind? What corner of the mind would you have failed to embrace in light? Therefore, in truth, beloved friends, understand well that the ego is the attempt to replace honesty with dishonesty. Okay, I'll repeat that again. Therefore, in truth, beloved friends, understand well that the ego is the attempt to replace honesty with dishonesty. It is dishonesty itself. In fact, one could go so far as to say that those that would seek for the devil need only look at the ego, in which case the ego becomes egocentric, and your sense of identity is all wrapped up in defending and protecting a false image of yourself. So I'm almost getting to the questions. Much resistance is pervading your human domain, much energy of resistance, which is only this. No, I will not look honestly. I must uphold the image I need to believe is true about myself. This is not love, and this is not truth. Beloved friends, take a moment then, and do it right now, and simply cultivate deep self-honesty by merely answering these questions. Have I ever had a murderous thought? Or are you having one right now? Have I ever manipulated another mind in order to try to gain what I believed I needed? Have I ever withdrawn love for the subtle reason of causing hurt or trying to cause hurt to another? Have I ever had, shall we call it them, disrespectful sexual fantasies? Have I ever hated the world? Have I ever despised myself? And last but surely not the least, for in truth, if you would consider it, all of those questions emanate out of this one. Have I ever hated God? Now, in perfect self-honesty, the answer to each of those questions can only be yes. And the honest mind looks upon all that has risen within it without judgment. For there can only be no honesty while there is judgment. Think well upon the questions that we have asked you, and then simply take it a step further. Has any of that type of thing within my mind occurred recently? And then you can just sit still and let situations come to you and see what happens when you when you start to listen to the question, to the answers that come from your mind that you just asked yourself. So yeah, it's a bit. See, Jesus. This came from Jesus. Jesus literally tells you this in terms of he knows himself. So that's the pain with this guy, so to speak. That's the pain of it, because he knows himself. He knows exactly all the thoughts that he has and that you have, because he knows himself. So he already knows that all the questions that you can come up with are actually yes. Yes, indeed, I have thoughts like that. Yes, I have thoughts like that. Did occur that to me recently? Let's see. So these are exercises that can help you really to become completely honest with yourself. And it's like, okay, here we stand next to each other and holding each other's hand or sitting in a circle and sharing this with one another. Yes, indeed. I have all of these thoughts, like I have nothing to lose anymore, because in my admitting to this, it is allowed to be there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, okay, at least I don't have to hide it anymore. So that's so cool about this. And that's a relief. And that is helping you to come into a deeper inner experience of yourself. So the obstructions are disappearing. So I hope you like this exercise, and do it whenever you feel like it. And you can read it again on the website. So now I have one more lesson that I want to share, and it is all that I give to myself. So that's also part of the same theme. It's like you can only give to yourself. It is just the way it is. It is the nature, because there's nothing outside your consciousness. So, and this is lesson 126 from A Course in Miracles. And what do you think of this? Today's idea, all that I give is given to myself, completely alien to the ego and the thinking of the world, is crucial to the thought reversal that this course will bring about. If you believe this statement, all that I give is given to myself, there would be no problem in complete forgiveness, certainty of goal, and sure direction. So look at yourself. Where are you looking for? Are you looking for certainty of goal and sure direction? Absolutely. So this is the key to that. By completely accepting this idea, like there literally is nothing outside of you. There's nothing. So if you would forgive something that you think went wrong and you want to forgive it, or you recognize actually that it never occurred, or you really think like, okay, I gotta make that good with my brother. So like if you completely realize that you actually are giving to yourself, it becomes much easier. There's literally nothing outside yourself that you're forgiving. You're only doing this for yourself. And by accepting that for yourself, it will change everything. Like your perceptions will be different too. It is not that you do it for that, but it's more like to clean up within yourself. This is a crucial step. So the whole basis of the 12-step or AA program or NA program or CA program or ACA program is based on it. It's literally you forgive yourself. First you write up everything, every conflict that you have with every person, and suddenly you turn it around by realizing, oh my God, how did I not give that? Or where was I in this situation? I'm only making a big list of people that I think harmed me, but actually I've harmed them by not seeing literally that I can only give to myself, that if I stop giving, that I'm actually hurting myself, not anyone else. So that's a big realization if that can come to you. And why not? It is your decision if you want that to be true for yourself, because it is the truth about how this works. You know, it's like it's a cosmic law in that sense. So certainty of goal, sure direction. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? If that is what you're looking for, you now got the answer about what to do. So become aware that actually you are always, in every situation, giving to yourself and not to anyone else. So a little further in the text, here we got this. You do not understand forgiveness. As you see it, it is but a check upon overt attack, without requiring correction in your mind. It cannot give you peace as you perceive it. It is not a means for your release from what you see in someone other than yourself. It has no power to restore your unity with Him to your awareness. It is not what God intended it to be for you. So a couple more paragraphs. Today, this is another exercise. Today, we try to understand the truth that giver and receiver are the same. You will need help to make this meaningful because it is so alien to the thoughts to which you are accustomed. But the help with capital H you need is there. Give Him your faith today and ask Him that He share your practicing in truth today. And if you could only catch a tiny glimpse of the release that lies in the idea we practice for today, this is a day of glory for the world. So that is always so great. It's very humble. It's very like, if only you could get this little bit of it, it would be a day of glory to the world. Okay, here we go again. So we're in the middle of our practice. In silence, close your eyes upon the world that does not understand forgiveness and seek sanctuary in the quiet place where thoughts are changed and false beliefs laid by. Repeat today's idea and ask for help in understanding what it really means. Be willing to be taught, so open yourself up to be taught. Be glad to hear the voice of truth and healing speak to you, and you will understand the words He speaks, and recognize He speaks your words to you. He speaks your words to you. All that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in Him. Be willing to be taught. Be glad to hear the voice of truth and healing speak to you, and you will understand that the words He speaks and recognize He speaks your words to you. Like I said in the beginning, like there's no separation in that. There's not a God in you. There's not a spirit in you. It's like, no, in the end, when you come into the knowing, when you come into your enlightenment in that sense, when you start to recognize your enlightenment, you see that there's literally no different things. There's no God in you. There's no spirit in you. No, it all appears to be one. It all comes into the, like you come into the realization that all is one. So this is great stuff. So we got great exercises to use to come into this realization. And does it take time? Well, it appears to take a little bit of time. It's like you do your practice and maybe you write down a couple of things you want to be honest about now. Maybe you want to write down some thoughts that you have that you never even dare to share with anyone. You just put them on paper and there, you share them basically. And maybe you want to notice more and more wherever you go that all you give is given to yourself, so that when you give a little extra and that comes to you, back to you too, because you're literally only giving to yourself. And that is so great about this. You can practice it so easily. You can use it every day. It is very practical. And it will help you quickly to go deep in yourself, to have like a great experience of who you really are. So do you want to be honest with me? Well, let me be honest about you. It's like, I really love you. And thank you so much for listening and for being here with me and for giving everything to this, as because your goal is to have certainty of purpose and to have sure direction. You want to feel that in your guts, literally. You want to know what is occurring. You want to find out where all the joy of heaven can be found. And in that, I share that with you. Like I join with you in that. So with that, I say amen. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.